the biggest name. And otherwise, you know, some other people have done things. I was at a show one time where I was in the audience and somebody got up and was doing the whole set and all, and said, well, I'd like to now do a Kenn Morr song called Drop These Chains. And I was like,
did he know you were there?
Whoa, yes. And absolutely blew my mind.
The way he...
yeah, I'm sitting in the audience and all of a sudden I'm listening to my song come back at me. It was a very, very unique thing.
And he did it well.
He did it really well, yeah.
And now, if someone from the area, you've played with Conrad Doty
for a couple of years, so probably I'm guessing close to 3 years, probably.
Coyote, in case you're wondering who I'm talking about, Coyote. I mean, he's like a legend up here in this area.
Yeah, he's funny because the first time I ever played with him was at a place called the Maple Tree Cafe in Simsbury.
Huh.
And I had a 4-piece band at the time. I had drums, bass, myself, and then a fiddle player, a female fiddle player. And the bass player was playing with Con Doty in a band called Blood Brother at the time.
Okay.
And he says, you know, we got to, you know, the Maple Tree Cafe, boy, I want to smoke that place. Can my friend Conrad sit in? So I said, well, if he doesn't mind playing 3 hours of music that he's never heard before, because when I perform, it's all my music, it's original music. So I said, sure. Is he good enough to come and, you know? Well, he shows up at the Maple Tree Cafe about 15 minutes before the show.
And you're like, oh, this guy's gonna.
I had never even seen him before.
Yep.
So we're in the back, we're outside, just, you know, warming up outside. You know, he pulls up in this beat up old pickup truck,
which I think he still owns.
Takes the amp. Jumps out of the truck, dressed all in leather, long ponytail, leather, little spec sunglasses. Yep. I'm looking at this guy going, my God, if he plays as cool as he looks, then we're going to be in good shape, you know? Comes in, throws his stuff on stage, introduces himself to me. We do a quick little 2-minute sound check now that he's there.
Yep.
We hit about maybe, 20 minutes later, and he played an entire night with me.
And never met you before.
Had never met me before, and we went on to play probably for 3 straight years after that.
And it's just because, hey, you want to meet this dude. And
that's all it was. And we've had some very good times together. Let's just say that.
And some of the things I like about the open mic night that he has, and I'm sure you've been to several as well,
sure.
The jams afterwards that the establishment will let you, all right, guys, we're going to clean up, but you guys want to keep playing, go ahead. That's some of the best music I've ever heard. Those jam sessions.
The impromptu.
Yes.
Yeah.
And guys are they're just looking at, I watch you guys, and I'm one of the guys look, huh. Yeah. You know, you get that look on your face a lot like, huh, that sounded good and then next thing you know, you've written a song basically.
Yeah. Well, it's no different than going to a playground and seeing, a bunch of kids on the playground on a basketball court and taking a ball and throwing it there and just watching a game come together
see what happens.
Watch what these kids can do. It's very, with musicians, it's a similar thing. It's just that it's fun. It's a workout,
Now, who did you grow up listening to? Because folk rock is right now it's a little bit of a resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. But who did you grow up listening to? Who influenced you? Because when you played your first song, was it the Rain?
River Song.
River Song.
I'm a huge disciple of Gordon Lightfoot, Bob Dylan, James Taylor, Dan Fogelberg, Crosby, Stills and Nash. Mostly singer-songwriters. As a child, I was drawn to singer-songwriters, mostly because of the words. And as I tell the students when I go in and do these presentations, is that I couldn't believe when I would read the lyrics. Here I was in high school or junior high school. I couldn't believe that grown men would express such honest feelings in words buried in the music. In other words, I'm always a melody guy. I like listening to whatever song grabs me. I like.
Mm-hmm.
Then I start to listen to the words, and you realize, wow, this guy's really expressing himself or herself. And so I was always drawn to the singer-songwriters. And for instance, Paul Simon. I don't know if you've seen Paul Simon's latest music video.
I have not.
Live from New York City. It was done last year, and I saw him at the Beacon Theater last year for this tour, and they made a concert video out of it. And to see Paul Simon at the age of 70 or whatever he is, surrounded by about 12 or 13 musicians, it is absolutely a must see and a must buy.
I've grew up listening to Paul Simon when he was more Simon and Garfunkel, and in a limited basis, his solo stuff. The stuff from the 90s and 2000 doesn't get any radio play,
right?
And it should.
Yeah.
Because it's some of the best music I've ever heard.
It absolutely is.
I mean, Graceland is just, I mean, that's just, I could put that on and list it over and over again.
Yeah, it really was that was a turning point for him and for a lot of people, you know. But if you listen to the one before, there's an album right before that called Hearts and Bones that got absolutely no attention. And I remember loving that as a kid at the time. I think I was in high school at the time. And you can see the foreshadowing of Graceland on Hearts and Bones. You can almost see him start to explore those rhythms and things, and then he had the bright idea of going over to Africa and getting those musicians, and he still has at least two of them playing with him, and again, it's just, you know, it's unbelievable. It's a visual and I guess sound. You just get enveloped by this.
I mean, concert. I picked up Rhythm of the Saints, and I just absolutely love that. I would just put it on and just listen to it over and over again. It's music that'll it captivates you.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I like live folk rock music, because I end up just really being captivated by it. It's a overused word, but I really am when I go. And I don't know. Like, I've tried to play guitar many times, and I'm one of those people that go, yeah, that's an A, and that's an A on the guitar, and then a bink, and then, oh, okay, that's that's how I just
It takes a little while.
Yankee Doodle will take 4 weeks. But
yeah, well, guitar is a tough instrument. It's not piano. I always say that, you know, a cat can walk across a piano and it sounds good, you know. Guitar, I remember a guy I used to study with called it a medieval torture instrument because of the, you know, the positioning and the fingers, and you have to get the calluses, and then you
better have the calluses.
Yeah, so it's a difficult, but once you break through all of that, it's just a wonderful thing because it's so portable. You can bring it anywhere and anytime, you know.
And when you show up with a guitar, people, what do you have there?
Yeah.
It's like you can't throw a piano on your back.
No, you can't do that.
Do you want to play, you listening to WAPJ
Sure.
Torrington? I have Kenn Morr in studio, and we'll get one more song out of you.
Sure. You said you like the stories behind songs. This is the title cut to our previous album, and I had gotten that phone call that everybody fears, where the phone rings, you pick it up, and it's a friend of a friend telling you that your best friend was in a bad accident, is in the hospital in New York City. She was in a taxi cab, exiting, and as she's getting out of the taxi cab, somebody was getting in the opposite door, got in and closed the door, so the cab driver thought that my friend had been out. So he just started to pull away as she's still getting out. And the back wheel ran over her ankle, and, you know, she's a yoga instructor. She was told she'd never be able to do that again. And she was told that, even walking was in question based on the injuries. So I heard all of this and got freaked out, and I wrote this song almost immediately. And the good news is this is about 4 years later, and she's totally back to normal and teaching yoga and doing the whole thing. So I like to take full credit for that because of the song here. This is called Higher Ground. Daylight disappears, walking in the rain with your face against the night, black and blue in solitude, wondering just what to do. Do you lay and lick your wounds or stand and fight? A heavy breath and heavy sky, another day gone by. The One offers quietude, it's a chance to catch your breath. But you're so much in a bind, you've got too much on your mind. And tomorrow always brings another test. Anytime the rumbling begins, anytime the winds come blowing in, you better come around and head for higher ground. On the story goes, sure as the north wind blows. Every day's another struggle just to keep above the tide. You cast your shadow on the street that burns beneath your feet. Then you fight to the death just to reach the other side. Anytime the rumbling begins, anytime the winds come blowing in, you better come around, head for higher ground. Anytime the storm comes rolling in, and anytime the heavy rains begin, you're the only one around who can lead to higher ground. Howling wind in your ears, daylight disappears. Walking in the rain, you've got your face up to the night. We put so much at stake, it's tough to bend but never break. We'll do anything it takes to be alright. Anytime the rumbling begins, and anytime the winds come blowing in, you better come around, head for higher ground. Anytime the storm comes rolling in, anytime the heavy rains begin, you're the only one around who can lead to higher, higher ground. Anytime the rumbling begins, anytime the winds come blowing in, you better come around, head for higher ground. And anytime the storm comes rolling in, anytime the heavy rains begin, you're the only one around who can lead to higher, higher, higher ground. Higher ground.
I like that song.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Now, when you're out performing, do you get a lot of people to ask you to play songs from your older albums or things that you did when you were, like, how do you even know that song? I mean,
well, you boil it down to about Friday night we're playing 90 minutes, so you boil that down to about 15 or 16 songs, and the band is now playing probably about closer to 30 of my songs that that we do pretty well, and it is difficult to not difficult to remember them, but difficult to choose which ones you're going to do. So it does help if somebody comes up before a show and says, "Hey, could you play this or play that?"
Yeah.
So then you just hope you remember the words if it's one of the ones you haven't played in a while. But that's how it is. It's you got to remember the words.
Yeah. Now, Do you bring more than you must bring more than one guitar with you when you go to play?
Yeah, I usually have an electric guitar and an acoustic guitar, and play both